Okay, fine. Friends, in the last class, we have learned few letters. The name of the first letter is Aleph. And how it is written down has been mentioned here. And the typed form is also mentioned with the transliteration. So the first letter is Aleph. The second letter is Bet. This is how Bet is written. And then the third letter is Bet is the second letter. The transliteration of Bet is B. The third letter is Gimel. The transliteration is G. And the next letter is Dalet. And the transliteration is D. The next letter is He. And the transliteration is H. The next letter is Vav. And the transliteration is W. The next letter is Zayin. And the transliteration is Z. The next letter is Khet. And the transliteration is H. And underneath it you will see a small dot. And the next letter is Tet. Okay, T. Underneath is you can see a small dot. And then we learned about Yot. Okay, the transliteration is Y. Fine. So these are the letters we have learned already. So almost 10 letters we have learned. And I said there are 22 consonants in Hebrew, 22 letters in Hebrew. So Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, He, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yod. Okay, right. So we will see the remaining letters. Okay, so few more letters are there. So we will see the remaining letters. The next letter is Kaf. Kaf. The name of the letter is Kaf. And you can see the way how it is written down here. Okay. So look at the way how it has been written down inside the box. So a horizontal line, which is bended down, or in other words, a curve is formed and it becomes a vertical line. Again, it becomes a horizontal line. So this is the way how Kaf is written. So if you see, if you remember the way how Bet was written down, okay, more or less the same thing. Only thing is in the line which is mentioned below. May I request all of you to mute your mics? Yeah, otherwise in the recording you will hear, a sort of a lot of commotion. Fine. So Kaf, more or less like Bet, but then there is a huge difference when it comes to the line that is appearing at the bottom. In Bet, you can see that the line that is appearing at the bottom, the horizontal line, will be extended on the right hand side. But here it becomes like a curve. So in other words, it is like a opposite way of writing C. Okay, so that is how Kaf is written down. The transliteration of Kaf is K. Transliteration of Kaf is K. The next letter is Lamed. Lamed. And how it is written down? You can see that a vertical small slanting line or stroke is written down on top of the, drawn on top of the box. So from there it comes and then it becomes a horizontal line, and then a small curve, and then a slanting vertical line. So a small vertical line on top of the box. Again you see a horizontal line which becomes a slanting vertical line with a small curve. Okay, so this is called as Lameth. Lameth. So the transliteration of Lameth is L. transliteration of Lamet is L. So Kaf, Lamet, then comes the next letter Mem. Mem. How is Mem written? A slanting vertical line. Okay, from the bottom it has to go up, and then a inverted C-like curve will be formed. Okay, slanting vertical line and like a inverted C. And then on the left hand side you can see a small slanting stroke is there. Okay, a small slanting stroke is there. That is Mem. Right? So Kaf, Lamet, Mem. The next letter is Nun. The transliteration for Mem is Yam. Okay, transliteration for Mem is Yam. The next letter is Nun. Nun. If you remember, some of the letters were taking only half of the space of the box. For example, Gimel, Vav, and Yod took only the quarter of the space. And this letter is more or less looking like Vav, if you remember, right? It takes only half of the space in the box. That means only from the center a small stroke, a horizontal stroke is written, drawn, and then a vertical stroke, that is Vav. What is in addition to that you can see here is the lower horizontal line. Okay, that is the difference between Vav and Nun. So Nun, the transliteration is N. So once again, Kaf, transliteration K, Lamet, transliteration L, Mem, transliteration Nun, transliteration M, and Nun, transliteration N. And then comes the next letter, which is called as Samak. Samak. And how Samak is written? Okay. A straight horizontal stroke, and then a U-like shape you have to draw. Okay. U-like shape, that is Samak. Horizontal line, then a U-like shape. Sometimes the horizontal line which is written down, no need that it should be in a perfect manner. It can also be like a small bend. In many running letters you can see that. Fine. So Samak, the transliteration of Samak is S. So Kaf, Lamet, Mem, Nun, Samak. Then comes another letter which is called as Ain. Ain. How Ain is written down? If you carefully see, on the right hand side you can see a line which is bending down. That is the first line which you have to write. So a vertical line you create, slowly it will bend down and become a slanting line. And then on the left hand side you can see again a bended line, vertical bended line. So that is called as I. So Ain. What is the transliteration of Ain? Surprisingly, you see here for Aleph we have seen that there is no equivalent English letter for the transliteration purpose. In the same way, for Ain also you don't have a English equivalent letter for transliteration purpose. So what happens? The opening single quote, the closing single quote is the transliteration for Aleph. The opening single quote is the transliteration for I. So whenever you are asked to transliterate, if you see Aleph, it has to be the single closing quote, and for Ain it is the single opening quote. So there is no English equivalent. So that means these letters will not be pronounced. These letters will not be pronounced. These letters only will be indicated by these signs. Kaf, lamet, mem, nun, samak, ayin. Then comes the next letter, pe. Pe. Pe, if you see, it looks like bet, it looks like kaf. I would say that it has more resemblance of bet, because if you see, only one thing, what is missing here is that in bet you can see the lower horizontal line will be extended beyond the vertical line. So here it is not extended. So what happens? You have to draw a horizontal line, then bend it slowly and make it as vertical line, and then again you have a horizontal line. And then another thing is added here. What is that? A hook type of thing is there on the left hand side, hanging down from the horizontal line. Okay, so this is pay. Pay. The English equivalent is P. The English equivalent is P. So kaf, lamet, mem, nun, samak, ain, pay. Then comes the next letter, sade. Okay, so you have to be very careful with the way how you are pronouncing this letter, because it is like TS sound. Sade, sade, sade. Okay, so this is easy to write. You have to draw a slanting line, so it has to start from the left hand top of the box and then reach the other side at the bottom, that is the right hand side, and then you have to draw a horizontal line at the bottom, then again a slanting vertical line which will join with the already existing vertical line, which is also a slanting line. So this is sade, sade. Okay, sade. So what is the transliteration here? If you see, it is S. Underneath you can see a dot. All right. So why there is a dot? Any idea? Underneath S, why you see a dot?
To differentiate
From Samek.
from Samak.
Exactly. Differentiate in order to differentiate, from Samak. All right. Very good. So kaf, lamat, mem, nun, samak, ain, pe, sade. Okay, so few more letters to go. The next letter is called as kof. Kof. So how to write kof? It looks like, the English letter P, but it should not be written like the English letter P. Many students will make this mistake. Okay, so how to write? Make a horizontal line and then make a curve and then bend it down in the way how it is appearing here, and then draw a vertical line on the left hand side from the top, but it should not touch the already existing horizontal line. There should be a space and it should come down and go beyond the box. That is kof. Okay, that is kof. So all these letters, I'll be sending a worksheet. Apart from that, if you wish to practice a lot, you can buy a 2 lines notebook. If you buy a 2 lines notebook, you can practice a lot. So each letter, if you write and practice at least 10 times, 10 times, or 15 times, you will understand and learn the way how the letters are written down, and also the transliteration. So what are all the things that you have to learn when it comes to the consonants or the alphabets in Hebrew? Name, form, transliteration. Name, form, and transliteration. So the transliteration for Kof is Q. Okay? Right. So in the initial weeks, you will be struggling or finding it difficult to remember. Okay, so that is normal. Okay, so you should not get panic. Nothing to worry. That's how it is. But in the course of time, I guarantee, I can confirm that if you learn these elements which I am suggesting properly, within 1 month's time or even before that, you will be in a position to read the text, the Hebrew text. So that means you may not understand what is there in the text, the meaning of the words, but you will be in a position to read. Right. So the next letter after Kof is Resh. Resh. Okay. So how is Resh written down? It is also like, it is resembling like Bet. It is resembling like Kaf. It is resembling like Pe. I mean the, half of the form. So a horizontal line, it has to become a vertical line. While making it as a vertical line, there will be a small curve. Okay, so horizontal line becoming vertical line. The transliteration of Resh is R. Okay, R. Samak Ain. So Kaf, Lamat, Mem, Nun, Samak, Ain, Bet, Sade, Kof, Resh. Okay, and this is a peculiar letter. This is a peculiar letter. Why I call it as a peculiar letter is that there are two variants of this letter. Two variants of this letter. If you look at this letter is looking like a Trishul. Okay, U, you write a U and then you write a slanting line. Another letter is also there in the same form, but only one difference is there. If you look at carefully at this letter, you can see that there is a dot on the top of it on the left hand side. If you see here, this is another letter, same form, but on the right side you can see a dot. Okay, so that is why I said there is one letter which is having two variants, two different forms. So that is why for some grammarians it will be, they count it separately. Okay, but as far as the grammar book that we are following, or usually these two forms are considered as different variants of the same letter. All right. So the name of this first variant, where you can see the dot on the left side, is Sin. Sin. Okay, Sin. And the transliteration is S with a stroke on top of it. S with a stroke on top of it. If you just look at the transliteration, you can see. And then if you see the next variant, the other variant of the same letter, it is Shin. Sin and Shin. Sin and Shin. Same form, the dot appears on the top, right hand side or right side. And how the transliteration appears? S, but then inverted circumflex can be seen on top of S. Inverted circumflex. Right. Yes. And we are coming to the last letter, that is Tau. That is Tau. How is Tau written? If you remember the way how you have written down Resh, okay, half of the form is like Resh, or Bet, or Kaf, or Pe. You see here. vertical line bending down and becoming a, horizontal line bending down and becoming a vertical line. And on the left hand side, you can see that a bended vertical line with a small horizontal stroke at the bottom of it. So we will see so many things with related to the consonants now in the remaining class. Before that, let me come from the beginning. Okay. So Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, He, Vav, Zain, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samek, Ain, Te, Sade, Kof, Resh, Sin, Shin, Tau. Okay, all right. So Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, He, Vav, Zayin, Het, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamet, Mem, Nun, Samak, Ain, Pe, Tzade, Kof, Resh, Sin, Shin, Tau. So when we meet on Monday, I will be asking you to, I'll be requesting you to say the consonants. So you have to memorize the consonants. Okay, so that will be your weekend homework. Nothing more than that. So memorizing the consonants, memorizing the name of each letter along with the form and transliteration. All right. So now coming to some of the important things in relation to the Hebrew consonants. So we are learning only about the consonants. Only in the next week we will learn the Hebrew vowels. Okay, so the first thing what you have to understand is that Hebrew is a language which is a Semitic language which is written from right to left, not from left to right how we write English and our mother tongue. Okay, so it is written from right to left. So if you see, this is how it is written: Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, He, Vav, Zain, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamet, Mem, Nun, Samet, Ain, Pe, Tzade, Kof, Resh, Sin, Shin, and Tav. Okay. So this is the first thing you have to keep in mind. So that means when you are practicing to write all the letters together, you have to start from right. So that means all the words in Hebrew will begin from right side. Okay, not from left. Okay. For example, the Hebrew word for sun is ben. So bet comes first and then nun. That's how it is written. Okay. First letter will be bet on the right side and then it will be followed by nun. There are 22 consonants or letters in the Hebrew alphabet. This number is arrived by counting sin and shin as different forms of the same letter, which I have already mentioned. Okay, so there are 22 letters in Hebrew. Now, some of the transliteration difficulties that we had, or some of the differences that we had, are explained here. A point is placed under H, okay, when it translates Chet. When it translates Chet. So that means He, when you write He, it is only H, but when you write Khet, the transliteration is H. Underneath you will find a small dot. And under T, if you find a small dot, then you can say that that is the transliteration of Thet. And when you see a dot under S, you can say that it is a transliteration of Sade. So these three letters appear with dot underneath and without dot. He, dot underneath is, and he without dot. So which letters will take without dot? He. Okay, he transliteration is H without dot. Tau transliteration is T without dot. For Tet, you can see T underneath, you will keep a small dot, place a small dot. And then Samak, yes, without dot, but Sade, Sade, yes, with a dot underneath it. So this differentiation you should understand, keep in mind while transliterating. Then only while doing the homework, you will find it easy. Because in the initial weeks, you will be receiving worksheets to transliterate, not translate, but transliterate in order to make you get acquainted with the letters. All right. Another important thing what you have to understand is that there is neither capital letter nor small letter in Hebrew. So the form which we have learned is the only form. Okay. So that means and the letters will not join with one another. They will appear separately. In English, we have cursive writing, joining the letters and writing. And capital letters, sometimes you write separately. All right. But in Hebrew, you don't have, there is no capital letter, no small letter, and even the letters which we are using will not be joined together. They will appear separately. Okay, so that you have to keep in mind. These two letters are special because we have learned different forms in the transliteration. That is Aleph and I. Aleph and I. Aleph, there is no transliteration or equivalent letter in English, and it will not be pronounced. So the closing single quote is used as the sign for Aleph, and opening single quote is used as the sign for I. Okay. So why these letters are like this, we will study about that later. They are grouped as one category. Now, coming to some of the important things. Okay, so all these details are there in the class material which I have circulated. So if you understand that in the during the class time, and if you read the notes later on, you will understand it in a better manner. All right, there are 6 letters in Hebrew which will appear with a dot and without a dot. Okay, so there are 6 letters, not all the letters. 6 letters are there in Hebrew, okay, which will appear either with a dot at the center of it, inside it, or without a dot. And this dot is called as Dagesh Lene. Dagesh Lene. These are all technical terms that you have to keep in mind. So I have written down here, if you see the letters in yellow color. Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Kaf, Pe, Tau. Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Kaf, Pe, Tau. These 6 letters will appear either with a dot or without a dot. Okay, so that dot is called as Dagesh Lene. Much details about these things we will learn later on. But then, why we are learning these letters that appear with dot and without dot, that is Dagesh Lene, is because some of these letters, when they appear with a dot, their transliteration will be different. Okay, so that difference we need to see. Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Kaf, Pe, Tau. Now, for the convenience sake, the grammarians, what they have done, they used to call these letters as Beget Kefat letters. Beget Kefat letters. So when I say Beget Kefat letters, it is referring to Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Kaf, Pe, Tau. Why the grammarians have given the name Beget Kefat? They have just used the transliteration. For example, Bet B, Gimel G, Dalet D. Kaf K, Pe F. But we have learned that the transliteration for Pe is P. Okay, we will see why it is appearing like this. Then Tau. So in between the letters, they have added the vowels like E and A. So it became, in order to be in a more rhyming manner, it has been pronounced as Beget Kefat letters. So when I ask you, please mention the Beget Kefat letters, you should be in a position to say that, okay, it is referring to Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Kaf, Pe, and Ta. Okay, fine. Now, coming to the third point in this thing is that the presence and absence of the Dagesh Lene, that is the dot in these 6 letters, will affect their pronunciation. That's what I said. Okay, how it affects their pronunciation? Through this table, you will understand. Okay, so Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Kaf, Pe, Tav. These 6 letters are called as Beget Kefat letters, or letters which will appear with Dagesh and Dagesh Lene, with Dagesh Lene, without Dagesh Lene. Now, among these 6 letters, Bet, Kaf, Pe. Okay, so this is not in order. The order is Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Kaf, Pe, Tav. So among the 6 letters, again we are dividing them into 2 categories. What is that? That is Bet, Kaf, and Pe with the dot, and the name of the dot is Dagesh Lene. With the dot, these letters will produce a hard sound. The pronunciation will be hard. So with the dot, Bet will be transliterated as B. With dot, Kaf will be transliterated as K. And with dot, Pe will be transliterated as P. But when they appear without these dots, okay, still the names are same, Bet, Kaf, Pe. But when they appear without the dot, which we call it as Dagesh Lene, the pronunciation will be soft. When the pronunciation is soft, the transliteration also changes. So when Bet appears without the dot, which we call it as Dagesh Lene, the pronunciation or the transliteration will be V, not B. So with dot it is B, without dot it is B. In the same way, Kaf, with dot it is K, without dot it is KH, soft. And Pe, with dot it is P, and without dot it is F. That is why when we say Beget Kefat, F is appearing without a dot, so it is we have mentioned it as F. Now the remaining letters are Gimel, Dalet, and Tau. Gimel, Dalet, and Tau. These 3 letters, all right, these 3 letters are always have hard pronunciation, hard sound, no soft sound. So there is no problem in the transliteration. With dot, either with dot or without dot, the transliteration will be the same. Gimel with dot G without dot G. Dalet with dot G without dot, Dalet with dot D without dot D. Tau with dot T without dot T. Okay, so this is the difference that you have to see. So what I have said, three things you have to remember in this segment. One is, there are 6 letters in Hebrew language: Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Kaf, Pe, Tau. These letters will appear with dot and without dot. And the dot is called as Dagesh Lene. Okay, so when this appear, when dot will appear, when this dot will not appear, all those details we will learn later on. So for convenience sake, the grammarians have used the English letters, or so to say the transliteration, and coined the rhyming term Beget Kefat letters. And the third thing is, these Beget Kefat letters with dot and without dot, there are some changes. And these changes will take place especially with 3 letters, that is Bet, Kaf and Pe. Bet, Kaf and Pe, when they appear with dot, they have hard pronunciation. When they appear without dot, they have soft pronunciation. Bet with dot B without dot V, Kaf with dot K without dot KH, and Pe with dot P without dot F. But Gimel, Dalet and Tau, always they have hard pronunciation, either with or without dot, they have the same transliteration. Gimel, G, Dalet, D, and Tau, T. Fine? Alright. Now, coming to again another few letters. Okay? Namely, Kaf, Mem, Nun, Te, Sade. Okay? Kaf, Mem, Nun, Te, Sade. These 5 letters have a special quality. What is the special quality of these 5 letters? Is that when these 5 letters appear at the end of a word, if this letter is the last letter in a word, if any of these letters is appearing as a last letter in a word, they have a different form. They have a different form. If you look at here, the regular form of Kaf is different from the final form. So that is why these letters have regular or normal forms and final forms. So when you end a word with Kaf, you cannot use the regular form. You have to use the final form. So how this letter appears in the final form? More or less like Dalet. But then what is the difference here? The vertical line is extended down. All right. The vertical line is extended down. So that is the difference you can see here in the final form. In the similar way, Mem, the final form of Mem is looking like a box type. You can see the difference. Okay. So horizontal line, small bend, vertical, and then like L shape. That is the final form of Mem. So that means when Mem is appearing as the last letter, then it will take this form, not the regular form. Then if you see Nun, Nun also what happens? The final form is different. What is the difference? The final form, the lower small horizontal line is extended down. Okay, the lower small horizontal line is extended down. In the same way, if you see Pe, Pe also, the normal or the regular form is different from the final form. In the regular form, you can see that there is a horizontal line at the bottom. But here in the final form, that horizontal line is becoming a vertical line. In the similar way, Sade as well. Sade, if you see here, the horizontal line is extended down. So except mem, what we can understand is that except mem, all the other letters have a horizontal stroke, or so to say a horizontal line. That horizontal line is extended and made as a vertical line, and that's how the final form is created. So regular form of kaf and final form of kaf, regular form of mem, final form of mem, regular form of nun, final form of nun, regular form of pe, final form of pe, regular form of tsade, final form of sade. Okay, so these 5 letters have regular forms and final forms. So 2 concepts we learned: Beckett Kefat letters with dot, without dot, then final forms. Then coming to the next point, 5 letters in Hebrew are called as gutturals. Why these letters are called as gutturals? They are pronounced using the throat. Aleph, He, Chet, Ain, Resh. So the pronunciation comes from the throat. Okay. Aleph, He, Chet, Ain, Resh. So these letters are called as gutturals. Okay. So categorizing the letters and understanding the categorization of the letters is very important, because this will help us for the later part grammars that we will be learning. Okay. So Beckett Kefat letters, final form, and the third thing that we have learned in the introduction to the consonants of the alphabets is the gutturals. The next point that you have to keep in mind is that some letters are called as sibilants. Okay, very simple to understand. Those letters which create S sound are categorized as sibilants. Zain, S sound. Samak, Sade, Sin, Shin. Okay, Zain, Samak, Sade, Sin and Shin. All these have S sound, so they are called as sibilants. Behet Kefat letters, final forms, gutturals, sibilants, and then comes the labials. When I say labials, there are some letters which are pronounced with the help of the two lips. Bet, bet, mem, pe, bet, mem, pe. Okay, so only with the help of the two lips you will be able to pronounce these letters. So they are called as labials. And the last category is, dentals. Like somewhere the tongue touches the teeth, like teeth, teeth, tau, dalat, teeth, tau, dalat. So these are called as dentals. Okay, all right. So these categorization we have to keep in mind. So once again, to brush up what we have learned, the Hebrew letters are written from right to left. There are 22 letters. Sin and Shin are two variants of the same form. There is no capital letter, neither capital nor small letter, no running letter, no cursive writing. All the letters appear separately without touching one another. 6 letters come under the category of Beckett Kefat letter. They appear with dot or without dot. The name of this dot is Dagesh Lene. And 3 letters will be affected with the presence of the dot and without the presence of the dot when it comes to the pronunciation. 5 letters have final form. Okay, kaf, mem, nun, pe, sade. They have regular form and final form. When they appear as the last letter, they have a different form. 5 letters are called as gutturals. Aleph, He, Chet, Ain, Resh, because they are pronounced using throat. 5 letters are called as sibilants. Zain, Samak, Sade, Sin, and Shin, because of the S sound. And 3 letters are called as labials because they are pronounced using lips. Bet, Mem, Pe. The last one is dentals, Tet, Tau, and Resh. Now, there will be a lot of confusions when you look at the letters. Some similarities are there. Okay, so those confusions which you will encounter, I would like to list out here. Bet, Kaf, Pe may resemble, same, but then they are not same. Bet is different, Kaf is different, Pe is different. So that's why you have to understand the minute hints and tips and nuances which I have mentioned when it comes to the way how they are written. Bet, the bottom horizontal line will extend beyond the vertical line. Kaf, it is like a opposite form of C. Okay, so there is no box end, square end. Both the places you can see a curve. They also more or less like Kaf, but then you can see a hook on top of the left side of the horizontal line. Then Gimel and Nun, you may have a confusion. Gimel, if you see, it looks like Nun, but it is not Nun, because you write a horizontal stroke and then make it as a vertical line, and then at the bottom you see a slanting line, not a straight horizontal line, but in Nun you see a straight horizontal stroke. Then Dalat and Resh, you should not be confused. Dalat, straight line, both horizontal and vertical are straight. No, it is not in a bended form. But if you see Resh, you can see a curve. And then you see the final form of Kaf. Many people will write the Dalat like final form of Kaf. Final form of Kaf looks like Dalat, but then you can see the vertical line is extended down. Then He and Chet. Don't forget to remember the space that should be there between the horizontal and the vertical line when it comes to He. But Chet, there is no space. Vav, Zain, final form of Nun. Vav and Nun appears the same. But the final form of Nun, you can see the vertical line is extended down. And Zain also, you see that there is a small horizontal stroke, slanting stroke, and then there is a bended vertical line. So all these minute things you have to keep in mind. Then when it comes to Tet, Mem, and final form of Mem, and also Samak, it may resemble same, but they are different. Tet is different, Mem is different, final form of Mem is different, Samak is different. Some people will write final form of Mem and Samak in the same manner, but they are different. Okay, and then the last one that we have to keep in mind is Ain, Sade, final form of Sade. Ain is like, Y, but it is not like exactly like Y. And Sade is different. Final form of Sade is different. Final form of Sade, you can see a vertical line, straight line. That straight line, if it is appearing as a horizontal line, that is the normal form of Sade. Okay. So, that's all for today. And these are the letters that you have to memorize. Name, form, transliteration. Okay, so Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalat, He, Vav, Zain, Het, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamet, Mem, Nun, Samak, Ain, Bet, Sade, Kof, Resh, Sin, Shin, Tau. Okay, so please keep on memorizing. spend at least minimum half an hour to maximum 1 hour in the beginning stage when you learn the language every day. Then only you can pick up the language. Okay, so we are just in the initial stage. Please go through the class material. So what we have dealt today is basically from the content of the material or uh, the, the, the handout which you have received for lesson 1. Okay, so which has been completed in this week. I was just trying to use my board, to write, but then my the digital pen which I'm having, it creates a problem. That's why I'm not able to write. Okay, so but then since we have few more minutes, if you have any doubts, you can ask, or else let me show you the worksheet that I will be circulating. Any clarifications, questions? So once when you start practicing, you learn quickly. Okay. Any questions, clarifications?
So that final forms,
Exactly. Yes.
they are in the printed manner, no? So, but the rest of the alphabets you have shown us in a box type, so that it was very easy for us to follow how to write. But these final forms, no, they are in printed form, and I think it will be difficult for us to follow and put the strokes.
Okay. Which are the letters which will have the regular form and final form? Can you just mention?
So, kaf, mem,
Oh, just a
noon.
minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. Okay, so this is the way you write kaf, right?
Yes.
And the final form is like this. So that means the final form goes beyond the line.
Okay. So
Okay,
on the
then the
top
next.
also will it be extended, sir? So
Yes,
when
yes, that will have.
while you are putting the horizontal line,
Mm-hmm.
will that be extended further for the vertical line?
Yes, yes. See, this is the horizontal line,
Yeah.
which looks like dalat, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. So it
So
will appear like that.
okay, actually we can write like dalat more extended downwards.
Exactly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Dalat is like this. That's all.
Yeah.
Hmm. The next letter.
Mem.
Okay. See, this is the way I write mem. So because of our handwriting, you will be writing like this. Fine. So look at the way how I am writing the final form of the mem.
Okay.
So here you have a curve on the right hand side, but this one
Okay.
is like the L shape form.
Straight only.
Exactly. The next one, mem nun, right?
Noon.
Yeah, no problem, because you are just going to extend it down.
Yes. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Pay.
The next one,
Pay.
all right.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, so if you see technically, except mem, in all other letters, how the final forms are created is nothing but the the horizontal line, it is extended down.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the
So what
logic.
about Sade? Final form of Sade?
Yeah, this is the normal form of Sade.
Yes.
And the final form of Tzade is like this.
Okay.
One more letter.
Yes, sir, we have done Kaf, Mem, Noon, Pe, Sade.
Fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. This will be your homework. Okay. So I will be circulating this printed sheet. You can take a printout and practice writing the alphabet. So you can see the direction given here. Okay. How to write with arrow mark. Okay. So that means you have to, for example, Aleph from right you have to start and then come up to the left side. Like that for each letter, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, and so on. Fine. Any more questions, clarifications? Okay, so I will send you a song to memorize the alphabets, which will be helpful for you. Okay. Then Monday we are meeting again. So on that day I can ask anyone. So you have to say Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, He, Vav, Zain, He, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamat, Mem, Nun, Sama, Kain, Bet, Zade, Kof, Resh, Sin, Shin, Tau. All right. Enjoy learning Hebrew. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.